Hi friends, it's Doll from Doll Can Create, or Pastor Barb, and I thought I'd do my rocking chair knit and chat live here on Facebook today. I'm going to be focusing on my Lenten blanket, my project, so I'm just going to show you where I left off. There, I just finished the corner, and I have this. So it's pretty big. It's too big to show in the screen where I am, but that's okay. And since I'm at a spot where I'm changing color, I thought this would be a good time to show you what I do, so I don't have to thread the ends in when I'm finished, because there would be a whole lot of them. And anyway, how are you doing? Happy Friday, everyone. I've been learning about blog posting and YouTubes and emails and oh my gosh. And in the middle of all of that, I did my mind map for Sunday's worship, and I can show you the picture. Whoops. Of course, it's going to be backwards, but you know, there it is. Those are my sermon notes for Sunday, talking about Zacchaeus. So you'll have to come back and watch Sunday at 10:30 here live on Facebook, and then upload it to my blog afterwards. So what I do is, the first stitch is always knit through the back loop on this blanket, and I keep it in the same color. So this is a mini tutorial, if you will. So then I take the next one and I knit it in. Then what I do is I take that little bit of the previous one, it's hiding, and thread it over. Knit these two together. So it's a little bit bulkier there, but nobody's going to see that. And then I will knit 2 more stitches. Then take those 2 loose ends over, knit 2. Over. Now keep in mind, this is a 10-row blanket, 10-stitch blanket. 1, 2, and then in the next one, I will slip knitwise, and then take up, I don't know whether you can see there or not. I'm trying to show this kind of backwards. There's the 2 loops of that chain. So I'm going to pick up both of those loops, slide the slip stitch back on, and then I'm knitting them together, I think. Having a little bit of trouble there. There, that row's done. And for the most part, I don't even think about it. So when I turn it over, I haven't really shown the back. There's a nice line up the back where everything has been attached. So let's go backwards. Hi, Janet. I will go back the other way. It's just easy. I'm going to knit 9 stitches, and I'm knitting this British style. So I'm throwing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now the 9th one. Whoops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then the last stitch, bring the yarn forward, slip it off as if to purl. And what that does is it gives this beautiful edge that we will then turn around and use to connect it. Good to see you too. So we'll go around. Normally, when I'm working on this Lenten project, I'm not talking with you. I may be having a bit of a prayer in my head, or this week, most of that time was spent thinking about poor Zacchaeus, a short little man, who referred to himself as a sinner. I'm not too sure, you know. So we're going to look at him on Sunday and just see where that kind of goes. But I'll do another row while we're chatting here. No music in the background. It's difficult to put music in the background in these videos because there could be copyright claims. So I tend not to do that, especially if I'm live and I can't change anything. So this yarn is quite different in that, again, it's hand spun, but I think there were two different colors on the spindle, so that you can see the purple and you can see the peachy color. So I'm going to end up with a candy cane type or barbershop pole. Slip that last stitch, pick up the 2 loops, pass it back, and knit. There. And that's all there is to it. You know, I started thinking about this project doing 40 days and 40 panels, but I don't think that's what's going to happen here. Because I never know. Like, there's a little tiny bit of that orange in there. Just how far the color is going to go. And once I start a corner, like this one, from here to here, I want to knit the whole thing in one sitting, regardless of how much I did before or how much I want to do afterwards. The corner gets done because I have to watch what I'm doing with the short rows. Because I can't tend to stop in the middle of a short row. Some people can. I can't. I have to finish a short row while I'm doing it, and I'm just going to trim that. So everything in this blanket is hand spun. This turquoise is from Local Sheep. This gray is from Local Sheep. This was dyed with dandelion blossoms, but in a cast iron pan, so it picked up the metal, and the same for that gray down there. And the turquoise was from some sock yarn I was dyeing, and there was dye colors still waiting, so I thought I'll just throw some fiber in there and see what happens. So yeah, that's what happens sometimes. So I have fresh coffee with me today as I sit in my rocking chair. The news is that my rocking chair is going to go away. At some point, I'm picking up a 2-seater couch that people are getting rid of, and they're going to go in this space here beside me and this table. I think Nick will hold on to his rocking chair, so maybe my rocking chair videos will be from his chair. But this one has worn out in the seat and in the back, and I can feel the metal even with the cushions. So it's time, it's done its job. I've been very happy with it, but it needs to go away. So this was 100 days. 100 days? No, 40 days. So it was just a project for Lent. I don't know how big it's going to get. I honestly don't know. And I don't know what I'll do with it when I'm finished. I may do a fancy edge on it, do an I-cord edge all the way around. That's a lot of stitches. But that could be kind of fun to finish it up. Maybe do that in a bright yellow for Resurrection, maybe? I don't know. Could be. Bright yellow. That would certainly offset everything else that's around it, and I don't really have yellow. No, there's no yellow in here. And I'm not even sure I have yellow in my jar. Here's one of my jars. I do. I have a tiny little bit of yellow there. It's kind of gold. So I may put that in next. But it's purples and browns, and I've got one jar that's only got this much left and another jar that's almost full. So I've got lots of bits and pieces that I have spindle spun over the last year and last fall in particular. So I wondered, as you're watching, how your project for Lent has been going. I know someone commented to me yesterday that they gave up sugar. Sugar's really hard to give up, isn't it? Oh my goodness. So when I work on this, you might say I'm giving up some of my personal knitting time to work on something bigger. And while I do that, I'm meditating and praying on what the Lord has in store for me, where I can go minister who needs to be ministered to today, it's those kinds of feelings, you know. I don't know. I like Lent. There's such hope when we step into Lent, whether we've given anything up or if we just have a new practice we're going to try. There's hope at the end that continues throughout life. So I am hopeful and I am filled with hope. Yeah. Let me just see if I can get this one around. I talk a little bit about modular knitting, and it was years ago. I'm trying to think of her name. Vivian Huxborough? I'll have to find it and I'll post it in my blog. She called it diamond knitting at the time, and that was back before 2006. I know that I took that book out of the library, and I was really excited to kind of jump into that. I'd never heard of it, never seen it. And she is really big in the world of modular knitting. So you might want to check her out if you're interested. There's a lot of people doing the diamonds, especially with their stash busting kind of things. I have done that. And I've done this one. I've done the entrelac, which I really, really enjoy. And it's kind of modular too, because you're only working with a short number of stitches at any time. And I like that. If I have to cast on over 200 stitches for a sweater, it probably won't happen. That's just too much for my brain to get wrapped around. But to cast on 10 stitches, not so hard. Knit 10 rows, not so hard. Little by little it grows, and little by little for me during Lent, I know my faith is deepening. So I think that's all I wanted to share today, just to show you a little bit more about my blanket and what I'm doing, and I'll try to remember to post the link. Excuse me. The link to the pattern. I think I posted it once before, but I can post it again to give you a chance to kind of jump right in with it. But whatever you're doing for Lent, I hope it's bringing you some joy and thinking about Zacchaeus for this Sunday. I'm thinking about what repentance looks like. And as we go through Lent, we think about what we need to change in our life to bring us closer to the divine. And look at that. Look at that. So one last thing before I go, because I'm almost at the end of this color. What I do is, because it happens a lot, I take it and I go down the row of knitting once. Let me see if I can do it this way. I go once and back up. Go again and back up. So that's basically 4 times the width. And then I take my end piece and go all the way down. And that tells me I'd have this much left over. Because there's nothing worse than getting to the end and realizing you need enough yarn for 3 more rows or 3 more stitches. And you don't want to change color there, because when you change color on the right side, you get the color bumps, and I don't want that. I want the colors to be smooth and easy. So that's the last of my blanket tips for you today. Have a great one. The weekend is almost here, so enjoy, and we'll see you next time. Again, it's Doll from Doll Can Create. You can too. From Pastor Barb, we say goodbye. God bless.